Pessoal, boa tarde a todos. Muito obrigado pela participação de vocês aqui. Vejo muitos nomes conhecidos, outros ainda não. Numa rápida apresentação, eu sou o Éder Miranda, eu sou o fundador da Unodata e hoje, muito feliz, very happy, com a presença do Murray. O Murray é da CloudAlly, uma empresa que nós vamos representar aqui no Brasil, né? We are the new business partner here in Brazil of CloudAlly. So, algumas vezes vamos falar português, outras vezes vamos falar inglês, sometimes English, sometimes Portuguese. Vocês podem raise hand, vocês podem escrever, mandar aí as perguntas. Nós vamos falar durante 40 minutos aproximadamente, mostrando as funcionalidades, as soluções, e no final nós vamos ter 10 minutos para perguntas e respostas. Tá legal? So, Murray, everybody here in Brazil, welcome you. Thanks so much for your time. Thanks so much for your interest to, join us in this webinar. So we are very excited. And once again, thank you very much. The word is yours.
Thanks, Eder. No, it's really a pleasure to be here. As we were just saying, I've been with CloudAlly from the beginning, and Brazil has always been one of those markets that we've kind of looked at and just think we should be doing more business there. So really excited to be working with you guys. And since we're now part of Zigzag River, right, it's opened up a whole new world to us as well, as hopefully you. So yeah, we're all really excited and looking forward to actually today. I don't want to give a sales pitch. I want to talk about backup and what's happening in the world right now and why it's needed. Because I think that's the first thing. As far as I'm concerned, we can do the demo later and show you how it all works. But I don't think that's even the real topic. I think the topic is, why are we even talking about backing up, Microsoft data? It's Microsoft. And that's a question that's asked, daily of us. So I think that's really the interesting part. And personally, I prefer a conversation, a dialogue.
Good.
Feel free to interrupt.
Pessoal, em comum, eu e o Murray, eu era aqui no Brasil o representante da Roaring Penguin e foi adquirida pela Zix, e CloudAlly também foi adquirida por Zix. Então, agora nós temos muito mais produtos para oferecer, né? Much more products, much more possibilities to you guys here in Brazil. E vamos fazer um bate-papo, vamos falar sobre o que está acontecendo sobre backup no mundo. E how many years working with backup, Murray?
Me or CloudAlly? Actually, a long time. No, I'm an old man now, and I've been doing 10 years. So I'll give you a quick background. So my background, I've been in IT actually for a long time, back in the mainframe, days, as a programmer, COBOL and assembler, way back. But it was like the golden age. It was a lot of fun. Because we were kind of figuring things out, and then into project management. And then I got into sales, like Indian outsourcing and kind of multinational sales with financial services. And then I was actually taking some time off and met the CloudAlly guys. And they were a startup. They didn't have any money. And they were like, we all got along really well. And I was like, I should really get back to work now. I was taking a couple of years off doing some work, and met the guys, loved it. And 10 years later, I'm still thinking, do I really work for this company, or is this, but yeah, it's been 10 years.
Yeah, really.
So I'm not a founder. I didn't have money and skin in the game, as they say, initially. But I've been with them from the beginning. We're all good friends. I travel back. It's headquartered in Israel. I travel back once or twice a year for on-site meetings. Of course, we haven't done that for a while. And so I've been doing this for 10 years, and I've worked with literally hundreds, probably thousands of partners and customers. So got a long time doing this. The gray hair, see, it's all. I still have it, but it is all gray now. So, okay, so let's go ahead. I'll start my screen. I'll start my screen share. We'll get right into this. So, primarily I work with our channel partners, but I also, let me do a screen share. But I also work a lot. Whoops, sorry about that. present is what I wanted. But I also work a lot with our enterprise customers, direct customers. So, I'm glad to talk either one. We can talk channel resellers. If there's any resellers out there, we can talk direct, how it works specifically to you, the end business out there that needs to protect their data. So with that,
good.
I'm going to use the slides, but again, I don't want to just read the stuff off to everybody. I'd like to make this a dialogue. And Eder, if you want to kind of cover the Q&A panel, and I'll do the talking.
Okay.
We'll try to slow down and talk at a reasonable pace, and then feel free to stop and translate whenever you think it's appropriate.
Okay, good. So before you start, pessoal, mais uma vez, algumas pessoas chegaram. Obrigado pela presença de todos. Então, nós vamos começar a apresentação, onde o Murray vai falar sobre como o mercado backup está no mundo e como é preciso falar sobre backup para ambientes SaaS, especificamente Microsoft e Salesforce. Okay, go ahead, please.
All right. So just a little bit of background on CloudAlly. I think it's important. We were founded in 2011, headquartered in Israel. So, and that was the beginning of this whole industry. We were one of the founding companies. It was just us, Spanning and Backupify that started this. So we were working on our own almost for the first few years. We were the first company, this is a true story, first company to actually make a commercially available Microsoft 365 backup available on the market. 2014.
CloudAlly foi a primeira empresa a tornar comercial o produto backup da Office 365. Okay, very good.
Yeah, and it's it's a little known fact, but that's the case. And of course, nowadays, there's I don't know 50, 60 different providers and big names, the Barracudas and StorageCrafts. But those are all the new guys, the new kids on the block, as we say. We really have a 10-year history, and I think it's apparent in our product. We have a lot of depth, a lot of granularity, a lot of control, and we're really proud of that in tools. We're now we're wholly owned by Zixap River, a US-based company. I think we have 500 employees around the world. I think it's about 300 million in revenue. So it's, it's a big concern now. And of course, the Zixap River, we cover Microsoft end to end, the licensing, the encryption, the archival, message protection, and backup. So we're really happy to be part of this group of companies. We take automated daily backups to Amazon data centers. We provide the storage. You don't have to do that. We give you options of the US, Canada, EU, UK, Australia. We don't have a little box check down in Brazil, but we have a BYOS. Yet. And you know what? It takes us a few weeks to open up a data center. It's not rocket science. It takes us a couple of weeks and $10,000. But if there's a market opportunity, just like we opened up one in Frankfurt, in Germany, in December. So.
Exactly. So, pessoal, o Murray está dizendo, né, que os dados podem ir para a AWS, em data centers de AWS espalhados no mundo, né, na Europa, nos Estados Unidos, na Austrália. No Brasil ainda não temos, nós ainda não temos os dados guardados aqui localmente, mas hoje em dia isso é bastante simples e à medida que nós formos crescendo, nós vamos providenciar isso. Né? As much we grow, as much we can have local data center. It's not a problem.
And also, I mean, if somebody today said, "Look, I've got a deal I want to book, tomorrow," we have BYOS. Bring your own storage. You can use your own AWS S3 compatible, like Wasabi, or Azure for that matter. You could do that today, tomorrow. So that's always available too, and that's something that we use for those markets that we're not in completely yet. Okay. Over 6,000 customers. This is CloudAlly, not Zixap River. 6,000 customers across 50 countries, over 500 resellers. Very little work in Brazil so far, so we're really excited to kind of get into this market. We back up, it's not a one-trick pony either. We back up Microsoft 365. It's complete. It's Exchange, mail, calendar, contacts, tasks, SharePoint, OneDrive, groups, Teams. We do Salesforce, G Suite, and Workspace, Box, and Dropbox. Okay, we're ISO 27001 certified, which means, you know, we follow industry standard best practices for data security. HIPAA is the healthcare service in the US, and we're GDPR compliant for Europe. And I have, I added it to another screen later on, but the Brazil GDPR equivalent, which just went into effect last year, I think. We'll talk more about that, but that's I think one of the reasons we're here right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and then we offer 24/7 support.
Good. O Murray fala da GDPR, que é a Lei de Proteção de Dados, mas que nós temos a nossa própria lei aqui, que é muito similar, very similar, e estamos compliant também com a LGPD. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so, you know, really the basic question is, why are we even here? Why are we talking about backing up SaaS services? It's Microsoft, or it's Salesforce, or it's Google. You know, do we really need to do this? The answer is yes, you do. There's a gap. Okay, it might not apply to a small company, right? My wife and I have a few businesses. We don't necessarily back up our data, but you know, it's a very small business. But if you're a company that is you know, a going concern with employees and legal concerns and compliance issues, there is a gap in Microsoft, Salesforce, Google, all the service providers. Just because it's in the cloud, this is the number one, you know, there's 3 points that we're going to talk about why we need to back up SaaS. The first point is, just because it's in the cloud, just because it's in Microsoft, doesn't mean that it's immune, it's safe from accidental or malicious data loss, right? And, you know, accidental, we all do it. We delete something by accident, or we overwrite something. You've got versioning, you can roll it back. But, you know, what if that was done a few months ago? And today I was literally looking for some presentations from last year. It wasn't life or death. My business doesn't depend on it. But honestly, you know, how often do we go back and think, I was working on those numbers last year for revenue. I've got to do it again this year. It's not always immediately present. So just because it's in the cloud doesn't mean it's safe. That's number one. Number two, and honestly, I think this is the most important one. The service providers tell you you should back it up, okay? What they offer short-term item level retention features. They're great features. Recycle bin, versioning, second stage recycle bin, you know, even litigation hold, although you shouldn't use that as a backup. But they don't offer point-in-time recovery. Okay, and Microsoft tells you, this is from the terms of use, 6B, we recommend that you regularly back up your content. Okay, it's that simple. And if you look, actually, I'm going to switch out of the screen for a minute, bear with me. Ed and I were talking about this, but you know, the proof is right here. Here's the Microsoft Service Agreement. We recommend that you regularly back up your content and data using third-party apps and services. And I love this one. This one is really, this is backing up email and Exchange. This is Microsoft. Okay, what they say is point-in-time restore of the mailbox is out of scope for Exchange Online. In other words, there is no point-in-time restore.
Exatamente. So, point in time, não é, pessoal? Num breve resumo aqui, o que o Murray trouxe para a gente foi, ok, é Microsoft, mas eles não são imunes a ataques, enfim, todo tipo de problemas que mesmo aqueles que têm um ambiente local, cuidam do seu próprio data center, têm. E o mais importante, the most important thing here is point-in-time recovery. Preciso da minha caixa postal de ontem. O presidente precisa da caixa postal de sexta-feira porque teve um problema no laptop, qualquer coisa assim. It's not covered by Microsoft's terms, right?
Right. It's not. They don't do it. They provide that short-term retention, right? And it's great. They even have 30-day rollback for ransomware. You know, they cover a lot of ground. But you remember back in the old days, you know, on-prem, you'd back up your applications every night and you'd store that stuff off-site, whatever, and you could go back a week, a month, a year, whatever, and recover. You can't do that with Microsoft. They just told you they don't have point-in-time recovery. They have recycling, which is fine, but you can't, if I have to go back and recover a mailbox or a folder from July 2020, Microsoft doesn't do that. They told you they don't do it. Okay, so and it's not just Microsoft. You know, there's no reason to pick on those guys. Salesforce doesn't do it. They say use the backup solution. Google says, you know, once you permanently delete something, it's gone forever. You know, that's a pretty strong statement. It's gone forever. That means they can't recover it.
Yeah.
And that actually takes us to the next point, is that it's called a shared responsibility model. And this, I believe this diagram is Microsoft. I think I stole it from them online. But it's a shared responsibility model, and it really makes it perfectly clear, I think, that they take responsibility for the infrastructure. Data replication, failover, disaster recovery. They do all of that. That's not your worry. It's not our job either, actually. We have a large deal in Switzerland, and the guy was asking how long it would take to restore like 5,000 seats with 100 terabytes of data. I'm going, that's not our job. That's not even a valid use case. That's Microsoft. That's why they replicate. They have built-in redundancy, replication, and failover. Our job is business continuity for accidental malicious loss. So if you look at this model, right, Microsoft takes responsibility for the infrastructure, but they make it clear it's your responsibility, capitalize, your data. The data is yours, and it's your responsibility. So these are the three reasons. It's not safe just because it's in the cloud doesn't mean that it's safe. What they do offer is short-term item level retention. It's great, but it's not point in time recovery. They tell you should back it up. And three, their shared responsibility model really is pretty clear that it's your responsibility to take care of your data. They take care of everything else.
Exatamente. So, pessoal, aí para ficar claro ainda, né? Então, mais uma vez, o Murray traz para nós a informação baseada na análise dos contratos que infrastructure é responsabilidade Microsoft. Os dados são responsabilidades nossas, de cada um. Okay, very good. Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, I think from there, those are the 3 points that I would typically use when talking to a customer, to a partner, then why you need to back it up. Okay, if you're not convinced at this point, I'm sorry, but that's all I've got. But there really is a gap. You don't have that ability to recover data long term. So why can you know, how do you lose data, right? The obvious one is accidental, and I think that's the majority of the data loss is
oh, really?
We all do. Yeah. It's there's maybe it's back here. End user delete 47%.
Oh, good. Yeah.
You know, we all do stupid things. I do it every day. Unfortunately, I've actually, you know what? This is I like this slide because I've actually done this myself. Okay, so accidental deletions. You know, you delete something thinking I'm almost out of space in my drive. Actually, I'm doing some cleanup. This is for real, and you know, I'm deleting things. I'm sure I don't need them, but you know, who knows? 6 months down the road, I might think, oh my God, there was some stuff in there that I need. I can recover because I have a backup, right? I saved something, or I you know, Salesforce has a ability to merge 2 records, right? You can have 2 duplicate leads, and then just before you merge them, it says, are you sure this is what you want?
Are you sure?
And then I do it, and then I still think, oh no, I didn't mean to do that, and I did it, and after they warned me. But you know, with the Salesforce backup, I can just go back and restore that lead. It's not a big deal. So, and I can't do that in native Salesforce. So accidental, we all do it. Malicious, this happens more often than I think people realize. You have employees out there that might not be happy, might not even be disgruntled. They might just not want to, you know, the employer to know what they're doing, making deals, whatever. They can you know, delete email. They can hard delete it. You know what? We back it up in the first and second stage recycle bin. We can give it back to you if you want to see deleted emails. We can provide that. You know, especially for litigation, virus, ransomware. You know, any number of kind of malicious activities. It's out there, and it happens. It happens more often than people realize. Synchronization. I've done this. Excuse me. My new phone, right? It's Android.
Yeah, it happens all this time.
Yeah, I actually deleted my, we use G Suite. I deleted my Gmail from my old phone thinking I needed to scrub it, right? And all of a sudden, literally I start seeing it deleting all my emails, and I go on, I log in, and sure enough, it's deleting emails and delete. So you know, I disconnect everything, but I actually had lost quite a few hundred, maybe a few thousand mails. It was years of stuff. I recovered it using my CloudAlly backup, but honestly, I can't believe I did that, but I did it. And it was a third-party app synchronization. So even, and I've had partners who said, you know, they're working with a company and it was the C-level, the CEO or the CFO that had synced their new iPhone and wiped out their contacts, you know. That's serious stuff. It's not just, you know, massive data loss. It can be the CEO's contacts. What are you going to do? Or calendar, even worse. Oh my God. Hacks and breach. Now let's talk about this for just a minute. This stuff, it's not just stealing credit card information. You know, sometimes a hack or a breach will get in. They can delete data. They can corrupt data. There's all sorts of things that can be done. But the most important point here is that according to IBM and a few other companies, it takes well over 6 months. You're talking 200 days on average to even discover there was a breach, right?
Wow.
So by that time, versioning, recycle bins, that's all gone. You know, that's pretty much worthless. You can't rely on Microsoft, Google, Salesforce to take you back 6 months in time to be able to recover data. So that's really, I think, one of the sweet spots. And maybe a couple of years ago, it was a hacker breach was very unusual. Now, I mean, yeah, it's daily. And that kind of takes us into the next slide. I don't know if you want to recap anything there?
No, it's good. So, pessoal, recapitulando, a maior parte, 47% da perda de dados, ela é feita por acidente, né? Um usuário que apagou sem querer um arquivo ou fez um merge de dados, isso é o mais comum. And Murray, we talked about the C-level, the CFO, the CEO, and so on. So we have so many companies that, you know, instead of covering, you know, all the company, all mailboxes, they want to protect just the C-level or managers and so on. What do you think about it?
You know what? I mean, obviously, I think it's better to protect an entire instance from a revenue standpoint. I'm a salesman, come on. But also I think, you know, for a company, I think it is important to protect the instance. But the reality is budgets, it was a rough year last year and this year, and companies are struggling and the budgets aren't there a lot of times. So you have a company with maybe a few hundred employees or a few thousand, or even 50. And, you know, maybe they can't spend a few $100s a month or a few $1,000s a month. You know, it can get expensive on large deals to back up their entire instance. So yeah, you could selectively back up key people in the organization and key SharePoint OneDrive sites as well. Okay, and we call it the a la carte plan, right? We try to sell the bundle to everybody, but if you want, you can do selective backups and just pay for the users that you back up and the sites you back up. It's fine.
Ok. So, pessoal, se tiverem qualquer dúvida, qualquer pergunta, podem escrever aí no chat que a gente responde. E a gente acabou de falar aqui sobre aquelas empresas que não têm budget suficiente para proteger todas as contas. Então, que é possível, sim, é possível proteger algumas contas, as key accounts, até que tenha budget e, né, consiga proteger todos. That's it. Thank you, Marie.
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. All right. And I love this slide. I actually just put it in last year. 2020, what a year, right? Everything changed. And I've been selling this for 10 years, as I said. I've been doing this for a long time. It was a hard sell. You know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it was a tough sell. But everything changed last year. Look at us today. Well, this is a webinar. But, I mean, everybody is on Teams meetings or Zoom meetings, right? This is how we work now. You guys are, I mean, London, we've been in lockdown most of the last 12 months. We just got out last Monday. And you know what? Business is booming and all of our business is done remotely. It's done through Teams and it's done through Zoom calls. So the entire workforce globally shifted to remote work. And what do they use? You use Salesforce, you use Microsoft 365, you use Teams, SharePoint. And we're all outside of our, you know, I'm in my, well, actually it's my kid's playroom, but it doubles as an office in a music studio. But yeah, we're all working from home, right? And I don't have the physical security of my office. I don't have the network security of my office. And so what happens, we're all actually, you know, we're being attacked daily with these phishing attacks, cybersecurity threats. I got an email from Infrascale, one of our OEM partners, and I just thought it looked kind of weird, but it was Infrascale. I work with them; they're a partner. Sure enough, it was phony. I sent it to my contact, and I said, "Is this legitimate?" He goes, "No, this is a phishing attack." So it happens, and I'm pretty savvy with stuff, but I swear I almost fell for that one. It was really good. And that's something Zix AppRiver has, those kind of services too, to protect you from those kind of phishing attacks. They'll look for misspellings and things that the bad guys do on those type of things. Anyway, so we're all under attack, right? So I think now, as it stands today, we're all much more aware of the need for cybersecurity, right? And
yeah, you're right.
Data resilience. I love that term because it's not just data protection; it's that resiliency, that data.
Yeah.
And look at your own. I'm going to jump down. Look at the LGPD, I think is the Brazil's General Data Protection Law, right?
Yeah.
Adopt security, technical, administrative measures to protect personal data from unauthorized access and accidental or unlawful situations of destruction, loss, or alteration.
Exactly.
That's your law.
Yeah,
That's Brazil's law.
Yeah.
That's serious.
Yeah.
And I know they've been levying fines to companies, where that data has been breached and accessed. So, yeah, you've got to protect this. And in a cybersecurity plan, it's a complete plan end to end. It's not just the backup. You got to get the front end, the encryption, message protection, and then the backup in case there is something that gets through that you can recover that data. So serious business now. Yeah, it's So do you want to?
So muitos de vocês, né, so many people here are looking for LGPD compliance. Muitos de vocês estão procurando estamos falando disso hoje por causa das preocupações com o LGPD. E então, como disse lá no começo, a ISO 27001 e GDPR, LGPD, todas essas coisas são nossas preocupações também. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's talk about. I hope that I've convinced most of you that there is a gap. There's a backup gap, and
there's a gap.
Data is at risk. Yeah.
There's a gap.
So how do we solve that problem? And we covered some of this earlier, but real quickly, we take automated daily backups. Okay, that's the bottom line. By doing that, we don't reduce the risk of data loss. We eliminate the risk. It's backed up, just like it was in the olden days. So you can restore it. We talked about the data centers, including BYOS. You can put it in Brazil in an S3 center there. We can open a center. The market is there for it. We back up a number of different services. We back it up to AWS. You can export, you can restore the data back into it. So you can restore a message, a mailbox, a folder, a site collection back into Microsoft. You can restore objects back into Salesforce, or you can export it. Oftentimes recovery isn't about restoring, but it's about getting those documents that your employee's missing and sending it back to them. Excuse me. Oftentimes the admins will actually just export the documents and email it back to the employee rather than putting it back into a SharePoint drive somewhere.
Yeah.
Or OneDrive site. So we can export it, and maybe even like offboarded employees, as those employees are being, as an employee leaves the company and you offboard that mailbox. Maybe you leave it on Microsoft, maybe you leave it on CloudAlly, or maybe you want to get it out of there to reduce the risk of discovery for legal issues or even a breach. You can export it out to your own data service. So there's a lot of features built into this backup and recovery. It's not just a restore, it's export also.
Okay.
And then the value prop. Anything you want to cover? We can keep going, Eder?
No.
Okay. So the value proposition, and I think this is where we really need to be clear. This is not disaster recovery. Okay. Microsoft takes care of that. Don't even think about that one. It's not the issue. The issue is recovering files and folders and maybe a site or a mailbox that was deleted or corrupted. Okay. Accidentally or maliciously. That's what we're talking about. It's business continuity. It's not.
Okay.
We want to reduce the time and eliminate data loss. And you can see, there's nothing unique about your data protection program in Brazil. It's all over the world, not so much in the US, but we have the California law, we have GDPR, UK, where I'm in London right now. We have our data protection laws since we're outside of the EU now. India has theirs, Australia. So it's all over the world. So eliminate data loss, we, whoops, put these out of sequence. So all these in.
Yeah.
Not everybody runs archives, right? And you back up, what is it? Archive for discovery, backup for recovery, I think is the term. So not everybody runs archival. It's another expense. And, but if you have a backup of the data, you can get to it when needed for litigation. So you're minimizing your legal risk by making that data available if needed for litigation. Okay, that's a bottom line. We're not an e-discovery service, but you can search and recover data. And then again, regulatory compliance. By guaranteeing the availability of the data, we take care of Article 42 or whatever that was in yours. It's in GDPR. You have to protect that data. That's the law. So those are the value props.
Yeah. So, fazendo uma analogia com Microsoft, o que nós estamos oferecendo aqui não é continuidade dos serviços, não é recovery dos serviços, né? Enfim, isso é a responsabilidade da Microsoft. O que nós estamos falando, oferecendo é continuidade dos negócios. Se recuperar uma pasta, um arquivo, um mailbox, isso é o nosso trabalho. Disaster recovery, that's the point. We are not talking about disaster recovery. Disaster recovery é uma obrigação da Microsoft, do Salesforce, de manter o serviço ativo. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So just, we really haven't talked about the details of the service itself, but just, and I'm not even sure, we'll get into a little demo, but it's not so much showing you the different features, but I think talking about what we can do, the capabilities, right? So from a highlight standpoint, we automate the onboarding and offboarding of all of your users and sites. Admins don't have to log in and activate backups or archive backups when users are leaving. That's all automatic. We detect mailboxes, new sites, and we'll start a backup if that option is on. If you're doing a selective backup of 5 users, we turn that off, you manage it manually.
Yeah.
But we do automate as much as possible. The last thing you want to do is spend your days managing a backup service, right? So this is all automated.
Good.
Unlimited storage, unlimited retention of the daily backups. Okay, we take incremental backups. So we do a full data backup the first day, incremental the next days. Providing unlimited retention isn't that big of a deal. We don't do anything weekly or monthly, or you got daily granularity all the way back, years and years and years of your backups. Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah, I know it's some people are shocked, but it's the way it works. Now you can restore data back into a user, right? If editor loses something, and I'm the admin, I can restore a folder, messages, inbox back into his mailbox. We can do it non-destructively. We don't overwrite it. We add it as a subfolder. Or I can put it back to I can send it to somebody else if needed, or the auditors or HR. I can restore a site collection or a OneDrive site to another user if needed, cross-site restores. We can export data, as I mentioned before, export it so that you can download it to your computer, or you can put it out to your own storage service. And we can even do that in different formats. You can select, do I want it in an EML, or maybe I put it in Outlook, put it into a PST, and then send it to the auditor or whoever.
So you mean that if I am covering my Office 365 mailbox, if anytime I need to export it, I can export to a PST file. That's it.
Yeah.
Good. Awesome.
Yeah, I think it's funny. Everybody thinks of recovery, restore, but I've been doing this 10 years. I think a lot of recovery is actually done through exporting data, or even exporting mailboxes, especially for audits and HR and looking for fraudulent activity. Yeah, there's a lot of, we have a really powerful export, and I think there's a lot of use. And then when you get into the recovery side, it's important that the service provider gives you a few different options. We can browse the daily snapshots. You can literally go through day by day, drill down and look for the data, or you can type in a keyword search and locate it. We index metadata, contents, attachment names. we'll find it. If it's out there, we'll find it. Because if you have a provider that doesn't index everything, if you can't find the data, you can't recover it, right? So we have a really powerful index and search capability.
So in a real case, I want to research messages from a company A that's sent to our organization. I can search and export this data.
Yeah, and you don't even have to know what the subject line was, what the title was. If this is a real life example, we had a partner that was using another provider. They had an employee who wanted to restore an attachment from an email. She knew the name of it. She said it's called 2020 financial projections, whatever it was.
Okay.
But the service provider didn't index the attachment names. They only indexed the metadata. They couldn't find it. So so with ours, you would search 2020 financial data, whatever, and we'd give you all of the hits that looked reasonably close, and then you could export it or you could restore it back into the mailbox. I can show you that. We're doing good on time. So there's a number of different ways to recover it. And then this is not more importantly, but equally important is that you have to have accountability in these systems, right? So we provide daily reporting. You'll see that, the backup status every morning, make sure the backups were completed. We provide audit logs. They can be sorted. They can be exported for audits. They give you time and date stamps on who did what. And then you can add admins to the accounts so that, editor, maybe Unodata is managing it for you, or maybe you're managing it yourself. That's all controlled through the user management section of the account. And then last but not least, I think one of the biggest highlights is that we not only have a copy of the data, but we back it up again from S3 to Glacier. Basically, our disaster recovery is built into this as well, because we have a secondary copy of the backup data.
Excellent. Ok. Então aqui, pessoal, falamos um pouco da granularidade, né, das possibilidades de pesquisa e exportação dos dados. Comentamos sobre essa possibilidade bem bacana de exportar mensagens do Office 365 em formato EML ou caixas inteiras no formato de PST. Achei isso muito importante também. A outra coisa, o segundo ponto ali, storage ilimitado e retenção ilimitada dos dias de backup. O primeiro backup é um backup full e os backups seguintes são complementares. Né? Então, muito bom. Okay, Marie, go ahead, please.
All right. So just a quick recap. So we're providing complete backup services from Microsoft, everything, Exchange, SharePoint, OneDrive, groups, and teams. We're adding Dynamics this year, maybe next year. It's a big project, but Microsoft Dynamics will be supported down the road. Salesforce, standard custom objects, chatter feeds, documents, attachments. It's a full backup. And granular recovery. You can restore objects, you can restore leads, contacts. We also have some admin tools in Salesforce. Salesforce, it's a lot of work if your company's really into it. We can do delta comparison, so you can compare the backups over a few days to see what changed. We can do sandbox seeding. A lot of organizations are constantly in the sandbox testing new functionality. We can allow you to take the last night's any backup you want, and use that to seed the sandbox with data. And then eventually we're going to add the ability to anonymize the data. Google Workspace, we don't have to spend too much time, but it's complete. It's all of the features of Google Workspace plus shared drives. And then Box and Dropbox, you select which users to back up, but assuming that you back up everybody, it's the user folders, the documents, the team folders, everything is up to you as what you back up with full granular recovery.
Okay, I got a question here. We got a question about CloudAlly, also backup Yammer. Yammer is a new social media of.
Yeah, I know Yammer. We've been asked that before. You know what? There's so many different things we could back up, and we've even put out surveys to our customer base and even to non-customers, and it's just kind of all over the place. We're a business that's in there for a profit, and we just haven't had a big demand for any one service outside of these major services in Dynamics. There's Jira, there's Yammer, there's what's the Slack. You know, I mean, there's so many things, and I'm sure we'll be releasing other services, but these are the 4 or 5 kind of bread and butter stuff that we focus on. You know,
okay.
The big ticket items. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Differentiators. It's a marketing pitch, but it's true. We're known for good service. There's a lot of competitors out there that just don't get back to customers. We respond, whether it's Eder or whether it's you, the customer, end customer or a reseller. We're responsive. We have people all over the world, and it's important to us that, you know, we're proud of our reputation for responsiveness. Simplicity. I'll show you the UI. We have some time. Dead easy to use. I'm not even technical anymore, and I can restore data. I'm not an admin. I don't even know much about it, to tell you the truth. It's really simple and clean. Granularity. You can make it as simple or as not as technical, but as granular as you want. You know, you can specify how you restore a document. Do you overwrite? Do you bypass? Do you make a copy? The flexibility. Over 10 years, it's evolved. We have a lot of options. You can put the storage anywhere. Billing well, it's more up to Unodata, but you know, we can do monthly. We can do annual for larger deals. We have APIs for integration and for ticketing. So there's just a lot of flexibility. Yeah, we built into the system throughout. And then again, it's comprehensive. It's not just a Microsoft backup. It's, you know, we cover a lot of the major SaaS services.
Yeah.
Okay. So should we go ahead and you want to take a peek inside?
Yeah. Let's see how it works.
Okay, take it for a test drive. So we actually, we've done, I think our team's done a really good job on our website. For years, excuse me, I was embarrassed to be honest, but the last rewrite of the website, I think they've done a really good job. There's a lot of data and, you know, multilingual. But take a look, there's a lot of data in there. It's worth exploring. Let me just go into, get this cleaned up. So let me take you in for resellers. We actually have a partner portal that allows you to manage all of your customers, okay, within that portal. It makes life easy for our channel partners working across multiple customers. We're gonna kind of skip that and go right into the account. And, you know, Eder and his team can provision those accounts for you. You know, it's a simple process, and then they can either manage those backups for you, or they can turn it over to you to manage. You know, it's kind of however you want to do this, we can do it. They can have access to manage your data, or we can kind of break that linkage so that they can see the account, but they can't access the data. So it's all up to you. You simply, you know, you activate backups, you select the service, exchange, give it a name. There's a few things you do on the admin side. You assign application impersonation. It takes 5 minutes. And that's so that we can read and write data to the mailboxes. And then you authenticate. We simply auto-discover all of the this is my test account. We auto-discover all of the mailboxes in the instance, right? And you select them and activate. You know, it's a simple, that's as technical as it really gets. We have a lot of features. I'm going to simplify it for, you know, purposes of time. We can do bulk activations. You can manage backups by Active Directory if you're a larger organization, maybe even multinational with offices in different countries. We have tools to do that. You can tag accounts. This is speaking of senior directors of a company. What some of our clients do, they add a tag to a mailbox of like the management team. Right, so they know if there's a recovery on one of these mailboxes or sites, maybe it's a little more confidentially handled. Okay, it's not like the rest of us when they restore our data. So it just gives you the ability to identify who needs to be handled more confidentially. There's a few backup options, but it's really simple. You know, we can auto detect new mailboxes added. You don't have to go in and do that. We can auto archive backups for you when you delete mailboxes. You specify a retention limit. By default, we keep it forever. But if you want 1 year, 7 years, 10 years, we can set it up in support.
Okay.
That's really it. Yeah, it's a simple process to activate. Literally, it's a few minutes. And then, you know, you do SharePoint.
So basically, what we have to do is sign with an admin account, and it gives permission to CloudAlly to read and give access to every account, and we can, book, activate every account, or one or two, or doesn't matter how many accounts we have. So
if I just wanted to, if I wanted to activate, instead of backing up all of my SharePoint sites, if I'm going to do kind of a la carte and only back up maybe 2 or 3 corporate sites, I can just select those sites or mailboxes, and click activate, or click the start icon. I can do on-demand backups. We do daily backups, but maybe I'm going to go in and do some cleanup, after lunch. I can take an intraday backup. I can click on backup now, and that task will go out into the job queue and take a backup immediately.
Excellent.
So
excellent.
I can pause backups. I can drill down in and look, see what's inside of the backups from an admin standpoint. But it's a simple process. Yeah. And the funny thing is, you can set up a 50-seat or 5-seat account in 5-10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. And I can onboard a 5,000-seat customer in about the same amount of time, maybe 45 minutes. But we have onboarding sessions with larger customers, and honestly, they're never more than 1 hour. We set up the account, we set up backup services accounts, the admin accounts, and we activate the backups. So,
Utilizando essas automações, a gente consegue ativar ambientes grandes, com milhares de contas, em 20 minutos, né? ou menos. O mesmo processo para ativar 1.000 contas, 10.000 contas, é o mesmo para ativar 10 ou 5. Okay, very, very good.
Okay, now, I just want to show this too, because I love this feature. This is probably 60-70% of our support now is done through chat. Now, I realize Unodata is, and Eder and his team are there. Maybe they're your local support, but you can access this right within your own CloudAlly account if you're managing the backups, and you can, within 60 seconds, there's a support person that's on the chat ready to assist you. Yeah, it's a really nice feature. Yeah, I use it sometimes too, even though I've been around forever. It's like, how does this work? Now, on the recovery side, right? That was it for backups. That's as technical as it gets. I mean, I did have to go into Microsoft admin and add application impersonation, but that's as difficult as it is. And then from there, if I want to recover data, let's say I'm going to restore messages or a mailbox for an employee, right? I select the mailbox. This is Addie's mailbox. I can either browse the daily snapshots. I can kind of look through the daily backups to find that information, or I can do an item search and just go right to the granular level. So I want to show you both. It's literally a couple of minutes. I can go back. I can go back to last week. I can go back to maybe March, or I could even go back, a year or 2 years for that matter. I know it's extreme, but again, if a breach can be 6-7 months before it goes undetected, you might need to go back a ways. It's not that out of the question. So I've through 4 clicks, I've actually gone back to the first week of April 2019. Here's all my daily granularity. Right? Here's my email backup. I can restore this back to Addie's mailbox. I could even, I could put it over to another employee, to Eder or to, HR.
Okay.
So I have complete control over where that is restored to. I can export it, right? If I want to export it and offboard it, I can export it in a zip file onto my machine, or I can even export it out to my own, Dropbox service if I want.
Right. Good.
Yeah, it's really nice. And I can export it not only in EML, VCF, I can just put it in PST. So somebody can open it, an auditor could open it as an Outlook.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to court, nobody likes this, but it happens. And we can produce all of the messages that were deleted in a mailbox for the life of the backups. So I've seen it used in litigation for customers where the employee was doing some fraudulent activity, and we were able to produce a folder of all the messages that had been deleted and give them to the employer.
Good.
And if you're running Exchange Online Archive, we can export litigation holds. But my other option, I don't have to work at the top level. I can just drill down into the mailbox. And I'll just go through the folder structure. I've got deleted items, regular items. I can keep drilling down into the folders So this is Addie's mailbox. I've done other restores. You can see they're labeled restored with the time and date stamp. Here's my in-place archive.
Okay.
I can restore these folders, or I could just keep drilling down.
Good.
And actually restore specific messages. I can even preview the message. I can't read it.
Yeah.
It's like 200 characters that we built during the indexing stage, just to let me know, is this the data I'm looking for my employee? And I can select those items I want to recover. I can restore it. I can export it, submit the job done. It goes in the queue. Yeah. Job. It literally can take. I went back 2 years to a specific date. Found some items and then restored them or exported them, and I'll get an email notification. I don't have to sit here and hit enter.
That's awesome.
I can go back to work. I'll get an email notification. It takes this is live. It takes maybe 30 seconds to restore a few messages. Maybe takes an hour to restore a mailbox with gigabytes of data, but that's done. And my other option equally is quick. I can go into that same mailbox. This time I can do a search, and I could say, we're talking about revenue forecast. I can look for data that meets this criteria. Actually, let me show this. I just used test. I like this one because it shows you the scope, right? I've done a keyword search. None of this is metadata. It's all well, some of it's metadata. There you go. But it's basically search metadata contents and index attachment names to find this. And you can see these documents go from 2019 all the way back to 2014. Yeah, and this again, this is all live. This is our test system. I've been backing it up for 7 years, 8 years. Actually. So it's excellent. So that's how quick. And then again, I can select those items and restore them. It takes minutes. Advanced search functions. Not quite e-discovery, but you can narrow down the search from a metadata standpoint. Who sent it to me? What day it was sent, if you want. And then it's the same restore. If you go into SharePoint, OneDrive, same UI. Once you've done one, you'll see that. Whoops, that's Salesforce. But you'll see that the process is the same. I can select a site. Yeah. This is a SharePoint site. I can go into last night's backup if I want. I could restore the whole site collection, restore download, or I can drill down into it. I can go into the document library, the list library. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. Okay. Now, the difference here is I can actually do an overwrite in SharePoint. I can actually replace data, and even at that, I can decide. Maybe I deleted some items, but not everything. I can restore only the ones I deleted. I can do a bypass. So if it exists, I'm not going to overwrite it. The stuff's old. If it doesn't exist, I'll restore it. So we give you a lot of granularity in how you recover that data. Yeah.
So shall we offer to our attendees today a trial period of the solution?
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah, I'm just showing you the audit trails here and everything else. So yes, let's definitely encourage people to sign up, give it a try, work with you,
muito bem. Então, pessoal, temos aqui a possibilidade de disponibilizar para vocês, todos os que estão participando conosco hoje, de um trial, um período de trial gratuito com no limitations, hein, Marie? No limitations.
No, fully functional trial. Yeah, there's no limitations to the. It's a fully functional trial.
Fully functioning trial. E é só depois do nosso bate-papo aqui me mandar um e-mail, tá bom? Aqui one more question. How long it takes in average to restore a backup of an Exchange account of, for example, 10 gigs?
Yeah, that's one of those questions. I would say, and this is a guess because I really haven't done it for a while. Microsoft throttles things, but I mean, you saw the recovery of kilobytes, right? It was 30 seconds. I think I left it so you can see it execute. But I would say megabytes would take minutes. Gigabytes, the average mailbox 5-10 gigabytes. I would say probably hours because Microsoft APIs are slow. This is not
probably
this is not
hours.
Rocket speed. Yes.
Okay.
And it's Microsoft, but yeah, it would take a while for a 10K mailbox.
Vinícius, a melhor opção é a gente fazer um trial para uma conta grande assim e fazer o teste do restore, tá bom? Okay, so my answer to Vinicius here, Murray, is subscribing to a trial, and we can test it in a real world, how long it takes, right?
Yeah, sure. Restore a mailbox.
Yeah. Okay.
Honestly, I'd like to be really practical about this. I've been doing this 10 years. I've never seen a full data restore in anybody's situation. Disaster recovery is Microsoft. I've never actually seen many mailboxes recovered. Typically, it's those folders and items. So it's not this, terabytes of data, even gigabytes. It's usually they've lost a folder.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. I agree.
Test it out. It takes a while.
Então, o que o Murray disse é que o mais comum é fazer restore de mensagens específicas, pastas específicas. O caso de fazer restore de caixas inteiras é bem menos comum. Okay, so Murray, we have 5 minutes left. I would like to open to our attendees in a quick session of questions and answers, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, so, pessoal, mais uma vez, muito agradecido pela participação de todos vocês. É um assunto bastante amplo e muito agradável também, dá para a gente conversar um monte, ter um monte de perguntas, dúvidas e trazer isso para o nosso mundo real. Temos mais 5 minutos aqui de tempo. Alguém tem alguma dúvida? Podemos nos aprofundar em alguma questão, pessoal? Okay. Oh, one question here, Murray. What about Salesforce? Have you seen any disaster in Salesforce data recently?
I have. I love this one. It almost seems like a setup question. Thank you, Eder. Thanks. No, I have. Early days, we were probably 2 or 3 years, old as a company, and it was a company called Mobile Zap. I'm not sure they're still not. It was basically a marketing company, U.S. based. They had millions of Salesforce records. I mean, it was massive, and it was one of these. It was a little dodgy, maybe, but they were a marketing firm. They had operators working on this stuff all hours of the night, and I got a call. I don't know how the guy even got my number. I got the call, and he was like, Murray, is that you? Yeah. What's going on? He said, we just had a massive data loss. And I go, what are you talking about? He goes, so the scenario was they had an employee, they were giving her a counseling session, right? But it escalated. She got angry, they got angry, they fired her, dismissed her on the spot. They hadn't revoked her access. She goes back to her desk. She deletes thousands of records that she was working, her contacts in Salesforce, hard deletes them, gets her stuff and walks out the door. And I don't know if they caught this right away. Honestly, I'm not sure what happened, but when they caught it, they contacted us, and it was thousands, like 20 or 30,000 records that she was able to mass destroy. And they were in trial. They weren't even a subscribed customer. This is the honest to God truth. They were in trial mode. They weren't even a paying customer, but it was a honest disaster. Our guys, it was not a one-click. To be completely clear about this, there was no silver bullet. There's no magic restore. We had to spend 3 days digging through data with their people to do the recovery, right? But the fact is, we did the recovery, and we restored thousands of records. Their only option would have been to go to Salesforce. As you guys probably know, $10,000 USD, you'd have to pay Salesforce, and it can take them 6 weeks. So we did it 3 days, no charge. They finally signed up and paid for our service.
Good.
But, I saw that one personally firsthand, and it was shocking how much damage was done. In minutes to a Salesforce instance. And I guess there was no easy way to recover it. There was, she hard deleted it. And as they say in their documentation, once it's deleted, it's gone forever.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah. No, I love that
Good to
story.
know. Good to know. Yeah. Good to know that.
And for my,
So,
we didn't go into Salesforce on the demo, but I can drill down into objects like the account table or leads or contacts, and go in and restore an object in a child, a parent-child relationship.
yeah,
So we have full granularity. It's a really nice Salesforce
yeah,
service
good,
as well. Back
good. That's it. Well, questions answered. So
Yeah,
once again, I
good.
do thank you guys for attending us today. I do thank you, Murray, for coming down to Brazil, virtually, but coming
My
down to
pleasure.
Brazil. It was a pleasure. And
Yeah.
to finish this conversation today, I would like to teach you a greeting for the most popular soccer team here in Brazil. Shall we?
We call it football in London.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, really, football here as well. So it's Vai Corinthians. Can you repeat? Vai Corinthians.
Vai Corinthians.
Yeah.
Vai Corinthians. What did I say, Edgar? What did I say?
Awesome. Corinthians is the most famous football team here in Brazil. Sure.
Okay.
I do not support them. But it's the most.
You better stay clear of football. That's like religion, football, politics. Don't talk about it.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
So, Marie, have a nice day ahead. We keep in touch, okay?
Yeah, thank you. No, thanks a lot, Edgar, and thanks everybody for attending. Appreciate your time today. It was a lot of fun, actually. Enjoyed talking to you. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Take care. I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye.